Warning: the content provided in this episode may be viewed as offensive to some. If you or anyone you know is offended by this episode or the bulk of this podcast, we recommend going to your nearest religious institution or windowless room where the ills of the world cannot harm your piteously fragile way of thinking. You have been warned. I very much believe that we live in a society that desires instant gratification, that in our quest to have everything brought to us, in our quest to get everything done as quickly as humanly possible, to move on to the next task, in an effort to live that repetitive cycle of rise, grind, sleep, we don't have a lot of opportunities to kick back, put our feet up, and truly slow down. And in that same token, I genuinely believe that we in this current climate of society have a very minute appreciation for art and the beauty of art. And if you couple the ability to slow down with art, what do you get? It's not often for me, of all people, where I'm capable of exiting my comfort zone and embracing an opportunity to slow down. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of I Am Heathen and So Can You. I am your host, sleep token enthusiast, Odin fetishist, Mjolnir owner, and Havamal porn producer, and definitely, probably still not a Viking, Einar. And as I said at the top of this thing, art and slowing down are something that New Yorkers, especially in my situation, don't really have the luxury of truly appreciating. And having an opportunity to get outside of my comfort zone and witness what I witnessed today makes me somehow think on heathenry and my faith and the spirit of creativity in and of itself. I went and saw Sleep Token today, and I have listened to their albums, at least 3 of them at this point. I know their lore, that they worship a deity called Sleep, that their music is a devotional act to that deity, and they encourage the people who attend these concerts to give offerings to the deity Sleep. And I didn't know until yesterday that Sleep Token refers to their shows as rituals. Suffice to say that when the show first opened up, I was pretty skeptical. I like to go into concerts with my expectations as low as humanly possible. This way, I don't set the bar impossibly high and I don't walk away disappointed. That being said, however, Sleep Token proved the basis of the fact that their shows are rituals. The opening band, Thornhill, which I highly recommend looking into, was quite good. They went off stage. There was about half an hour intermission. People were talking, everything was going good. You don't notice the fact that the entire arena starts filling with fog. You don't notice the fact that there is a track playing that makes it sound like a howling gale is blaring throughout the arena. And you don't notice the fact that you see little flares of light dancing backstage behind the curtain. And right as the band was about to mount the stage, the curtain drops and the screen above the setting, which was built like a temple, by the way, starts to flash the sigil of the band. starts blaring out pink flower petals all over the floor of the arena. And the band came out, and it was this extremely electrifying presence that I found myself absolutely enraptured by. And this wasn't me picking up off the energy of others. This wasn't me trying to live vicariously through other people. This was me sitting in this arena and allowing myself to be blown away by Sleep Token. The atmosphere they set up, the way they played their music, the energy that Vessel gave off, it was as though nearly 9,000 people in attendance were giving offerings to an unknown deity. It felt as though we were in a temple when, during certain songs, the entire arena burst out in song along with Vessel. And you could feel the hype in your own heart coming up and up and up and up, cresting over everybody in the room. And it was an absolutely transformative feeling. Now, again, I live in New York. I'm a busy chef, and I don't have very much in the way of opportunity to get out, to go and enjoy things and forge these memories. I remember feeling every single bit of that show, and it is something that I'm going to take with me for a very long time. Sleep Token, in their own weird way, got me thinking about heathenry. And it got me thinking about music and creativity and heathenry. And I wanted to talk today a little bit about the god Bragi. Bragi is Odin's personal skald, or the god of poetry, or the god of music, depending on what you're reading. You've probably seen a painting of a shirtless man playing a harp with a beautiful woman standing by him. This painting was made by Niels Blomer in 1846, and it features the god Bragi playing for his wife Idun. Bragi is a bard. He is a skald. He is creativity and the creative spark personified. It's said that he has runes carved into his tongue to grant him greater skill in skaldship, greater skill in being able to communicate what it is he's trying to say through the poetry he is conveying. And Sleep Token today made me think that with those 9,000 people in the arena, from every single conceivable walk of life, very much how one of my idols very firmly believed and proved that food is the great uniter, music should be held to an equally high regard. That there is always a commonality in music, there is always a commonality in poetry, in verse, and in song. And if there were a lot more of that, I'd like to think and hope the world would be a better place. But the question remains, with a deity who has scant little information about him other than he's the wife of Idun, he is Odin's personal skald, he is the god of poetry, whatever attestation you find him at. How does one worship such a deity? How does one earn the favor of such a deity, if earning the favor of the gods was such a thing? Which I'd like to think it is, but that's for another show. I would honestly believe that given he is a god of creativity and word, being creative, dedicating the effort and the time to be creative to Bragi is a phenomenal offering, a phenomenal token of the worshipper's esteem to the god of skalds. And I, for one, will be working to try to incorporate Bragi a little bit more into my practice, as I am a podcaster. I am writing a book, and I think a little bit of help from on high might do me quite a few wonders. But I digress. We have a god who has very little information about him, and unfortunately, a lot of the recons, myself formerly included among them, would have held the belief that there's very little about him. Why worship him when more gods have more plentiful information? I turn around now and simply say that we innovate. We push the envelope past what people would think is an acceptable form of doing things to the point where it becomes the new normal. And that's where I believe that writing poetry, writing verse, writing prose, and dedicating this effort to the god Bragi, learning an instrument, learning a creative skill that involves the use of your voice or the use of your hands is an ideal method of giving offerings to the deity. It is an ideal method of worshiping the deity. In my research, admittedly limited, so if there is anything I am missing, feel free to drop it down in the comments. I have not been able to find much to suggest that Bragi was worshipped in antiquity. So this provides us, the heathens and pagans in 2025, with the incredibly unique opportunity to innovate, with the incredibly unique opportunity to create worship of a deity that was potentially not worshipped. And I, for one, am completely for this push. I, for one, am completely up for saying that I am dedicating the writing of scripts for this podcast in a devotional act to the god Bragi. To the point, I have written a prayer in Bragi's honor. Bragi, god of poetry, god of creativity, foremost skald, hear my words. Bragi, stirrer of souls, inflamer of hearts, I ask that you bless my mind, bless my hands, and bless my soul. May words pour from me like sweetest honey. May hearts flutter at every utterance. May tempers cool and anger subside with each stanza. I call upon you, O skald divine, to bless my works with your creative spark, from this day until my last. Y'all, I was honestly thinking I was not going to record today, but given that Sleep Token literally turns their shows into a ritual space, it filled me with that creative spark to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep cranking out content that you, my listeners, can enjoy and love. So with that said, it's all the time we have for today. If you want to connect with us on a more personal level, you can find me at Chef Einar Blackthorn on Instagram and TikTok. You can find us on I Am Heathen POD on Instagram and TikTok. And coming soon, we will be doing a full rollout of our Patreon. Our Patreon is going to be very accessible, very reasonably priced, solely based on the fact that I want to keep this going. I want to keep everybody who listens to this in a position to have accessibility to exclusive content without breaking the bank. And with that said, my friends, as is tradition, as we are now on episode 13, raise a glass high, and if you don't have one, really, once you have your glass, raise it up high. Hail the gods, hail the folk, hail the ancestors, hail the spirits, and most of all, hail yourselves. This has been a Blackthorn production.